Hey, it's Dean Legge from Dog Post. Another bit of breaking news today, Tuesday, April 2nd. Georgia and Florida State agreeing to a home-and-home football series, as well as Georgia and Clemson. It's going to be interesting to see that some of these are 10 years from now, some of these games. So Georgia hadn't played Florida State in a while. I mean, they hadn't played them in a regular season game and since before I was born, and they played them in the SEC Sugar Bowl in 2003, which was after the '02 season. But they will play them what appears to be the opener of the 2027 season, and then they'll play them a couple of games into the year in 2028. For the Clemson game, now Clemson had already been. This was a series that had already been announced in 29 and 30, but now they are both going to play in 32 and 33. The 32 game will open the season. I'm assuming open the season in 32, and then I'm assuming they will open the season in 33. I'm just double checking to see if these are Saturday games to be sure, because it's so far in the future that I don't really. I mean, you could always have a situation where you kind of want to goof with the schedule a little bit. But in the case of 30-32, September 4th is a Saturday, and September 3rd, 33 is also a Saturday. The Florida State game, the 4th and the 16th, I'm assuming those are also on Saturdays. The 4th is a Saturday, and then in 2028, which is when they'll come to Athens, that game is going to have to be and is on a Saturday. So what we don't know right now is what the future of SEC scheduling will be. So that's going to be one thing to keep an eye on. But keep in mind, you've still got UCLA in the future, Texas in the future. Now you've got 4 games committed with Clemson in the future. These games are at least 7 years away in most instances with Florida State and Clemson. So to recap, in 2025 and 2026, Georgia plays UCLA. In 2028, they'll play Texas. 28 and 29, they'll play Texas. So that means you're going to have a little bit of a stacked lineup here a couple of these years. Here's what the release says. Georgia will travel to Austin to take on Texas on September 2nd, 2028, and will host Texas September 1st, 2029. The original series with Clemson has the Bulldogs playing at Clemson on September 15th, 2019, and the Tigers will come to Athens August 31st, 2030. The schedule will result in Georgia playing Florida State and Texas in 2028, and both Clemson and Texas in 2029. You're seeing here with some of these games that are going to be in Athens, that they're a few weeks into the schedule. I'm starting to wonder, just has Georgia been told that Vanderbilt is going to open the season just from here on out? That's me going off the top of my head. I haven't laid this out in any way, but I did want to just jump here on YouTube and Instagram just to run through this real quick. But Georgia, Florida State, Clemson, Texas, and UCLA will play. Georgia will play all those schools here in the coming years. It will be interesting to see. Maybe Florida State and Texas will be powers in, or Florida State and UCLA, the way that Clemson and Georgia have been these last couple of years. These are all, for the most part, blue blood schools. I'm not sure I'd stick UCLA in there right this second, but if you were opening the season next year with these schools, I think the team you'd want to play the most would either be UCLA or Florida State. And I think over the last 20 years, you certainly wouldn't have wanted to play Florida State. You would have gladly switched them to play Clemson, and you would have gladly switched to play Texas most of this past decade. But those two schools have had good years these past couple of years. Clemson for sure, Texas a good year last year. But you never know with college football. I mean, will Kirby still be the head coach at Georgia? The coaches at Georgia and Texas are young. Dabo is relatively young at Clemson, but will they all be there? That's a good question. All right, Dean Legge for Dog Post. Go over to the site, dogpost.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you over at Dog Post, DAWGPOST.com.